Opinion between loyalty and liberty. What Shashi Tharoor reveals about Congress' future. Shashi Tharoor, the articulate Congress MP from Thiruvananthapuram, remains a paradoxical figure within the Indian National Congress, a party he has bolstered with his global stature as a former UN diplomat and consistent electoral success, yet frequently finds himself at odds with its leadership. His role in India's diplomatic response to the India-Pakistan conflict in May 2025 has exposed deep-seated tensions. The government, led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, selected Tharoor to head an all-party delegation to the UK and 4 other global capitals to present India's stance on terrorism from Pakistan, overriding Congress nominations. The party had submitted a list of 4 leaders: Anand Sharma, Gaurav Gogoi, Syed Nasir Hussain, and Amrinder Singh Rajawaring. But only Sharma was included as a member in one delegation, with the others sidelined. This move, while capitalizing on Tharoor's diplomatic finesse, triggered discontent within Congress, highlighting its struggle to balance individual prominence with collective loyalty. Senior leader Jairam Ramesh, without naming Tharoor, remarked, Congress main hona or Congress ka hona main zamin azman ka antar hai. There is a difference between being in the Congress and of the Congress, critiquing actions seen as too aligned with the government's narrative. Tharoor's conundrum navigating personal conviction amid party expectations reveals 4 critical fault lines: the lack of internal democracy, the Gandhi family's unchallenged authority, Mallikarjun Kharge's limitations as president, and Congress' inconsistent support for national diplomacy when it conflicts with partisan goals. These fissures, amplified by Tharoor's high-profile role, underscore Congress' broader challenge to redefine its identity in a dynamic political landscape. Tharoor's real mistake not betrayal, but nuance. Shashi Tharoor's mistake isn't betrayal, it's his refusal to play by the unwritten rules of today's hyperpolarized politics. In an era where party loyalty often demands unthinking opposition, Tharoor has chosen national interest and policy nuance over blind partisanship. His support for progressive initiatives of the Modi government, be it praising India's G20 presidency, backing cultural diplomacy, or welcoming infrastructure development, has been seen as apostasy within sections of the Congress. This independent streak has come at a cost. Tharoor, once projected as a thinking statesman within the Congress, finds himself increasingly sidelined, denied leadership roles, overlooked for major responsibilities, and gently nudged out of the party's inner circle. His bid for Congress presidency was welcomed by the public but treated coldly by party loyalists who view any deviation from the anti-Modi script as disloyalty. But Tharoor's approach is not about supporting Modi, it's about supporting India when it does something right. In a healthier political ecosystem, such nuance would be celebrated. In today's Congress, it's punished. His real error is daring to speak as a statesman in a time of sycophancy, where dissent within is discouraged and pragmatism mistaken for betrayal. Lack of internal democracy. The Congress Party, historically a broad coalition that led India's freedom struggle, has struggled to maintain internal democracy in its post-independence avatar. Tharoor's 2022 bid for the Congress presidency against Mallikarjun Kharge was a rare moment of competitive succession, the first in over 2 decades without a Gandhi at the helm. Despite a 96% voter turnout and Tharoor securing a respectable 1,072 votes, 11.42% against Kharge's 7,897, the process was marred by allegations of irregularities, particularly in Uttar Pradesh, where Tharoor's team flagged serious malpractices. The election, while symbolically significant, underscored the party's resistance to genuine reform. Tharoor's campaign, which emphasized change over continuity, resonated with a section of delegates, yet the party's organizational structure, dominated by loyalists appointed by the High Command, ensured Kharge's victory. The absence of published electoral rolls for the 9,000 Pradesh Congress committee members further fueled skepticism about the election's fairness. Tharoor's subsequent marginalization, evident in his exclusion from the 43-member steering committee formed by Kharge, highlights a party culture that stifles dissent and rewards conformity over merit. This lack of internal democracy not only alienates leaders like Tharoor but also hampers Congress' ability to evolve as a dynamic opposition force. Gandhi family as the final voice. The Gandhi family's grip on Congress remains the defining feature of its internal politics. Tharoor's presidential candidacy, though not explicitly anti-Gandhi, was perceived as a challenge to the status quo, given Kharge's backing by the party's establishment, implicitly the Gandhis. His defeat, while expected, did not end the scrutiny of his loyalty. In 2023, Tharoor's candid remark that Congress is in many ways a family-run party while discussing potential prime ministerial candidates naming Kharge or Rahul Gandhi drew sharp reactions, as it echoed the BJP's long-standing critique of Congress as dynastic. This statement, made in the context of Rahul Gandhi's attempts to deflect dynasty allegations by pointing to BJP leader's kin, underscored the sensitivity within Congress to any narrative that questions the Gandhis' centrality. Tharoor's inclusion in the Congress Working Committee in 2023 was seen as a conciliatory gesture, but his repeated divergence from the party line, most recently on India-Pakistan diplomacy, has reignited tensions. Party sources have accused him of crossing the Lakshman Rekha, signaling that no voice, however articulate or credible, can overshadow the Gandhis' authority. This dynamic ensures that talented leaders like Tharoor are either co-opted or sidelined, leaving little room for independent thought or leadership. Mallikarjun Kharge's limitations as president. Mallikarjun Kharge's election as Congress president in 2022 was hailed as a step toward a non-Gandhi leadership, yet his tenure has exposed the constraints of his role. Karj, a seasoned leader with a strong organizational background, was seen as a safe choice loyal to the Gandhis and unlikely to disrupt the party's power structure. However, his presidency has struggled to articulate a clear ideological or strategic vision for Congress. On critical issues, such as the India-Pakistan conflict following Operation Sindoor in May 2025, the party's stance has been inconsistent. While Congress lauded the armed forces' success, it questioned the Modi government's ceasefire agreement, particularly former U.S. President Donald Trump's claims of mediation. Karg's leadership has failed to reconcile these contradictions, leaving room for individual leaders like Tharoor to fill the void with their own views. Tharoor's praise for the government's restraint and precision in the strikes contrasted with the party's skepticism, exposing Karg's inability to enforce a unified narrative. His role as a rubber stamp, as critics have suggested, limits his authority to steer the party beyond the Gandhis' directives, rendering Congress' responses reactive and fragmented. This leadership vacuum undermines the party's credibility as a cohesive opposition. Fleeting support for India's diplomacy. Tharoor's selection to lead an all-party delegation to 5 global capitals in May 2025 to present India's stance on terrorism from Pakistan was a testament to his diplomatic acumen. However, the move sparked controversy within Congress, as his name was not among the 4 MPs recommended by Rahul Gandhi and Karj. The government's decision to include Tharoor, bypassing Congress nominees, was slammed by the party's communication chief and Rajya Sabha MP Jairam Ramesh, who emphasized the party's exclusion from the decision. Tharoor's vocal support for the government's military response to the April 22 Pahalgam attack, which killed 26 people, and his dismissal of Trump's mediation claims as a politician wanting to take credit, aligned closely with the government's narrative. Swipe left for next video. This stance, while praised by some as patriotic, drew ire from Congress leaders, who felt it undermined the party's critical posture. The episode revealed Congress' inability to sustain a unified stance on national interest issues when they conflict with partisan goals. Tharoor's insistence that he spoke as an Indian, not a party spokesperson loyal to Gandhi family, highlighted the tension between individual conviction and collective discipline, exposing Congress' discomfort with leaders who prioritize national unity over party loyalty. The author teaches journalism at St. Xavier's College Autonomous, Kolkata. His handle on X is Sayantan_GH. Views expressed in the above piece are personal and solely those of the author. They do not necessarily reflect NEWS18's views. Latest blogs.